Hello and welcome back. We are so glad you are here with us today.
We really are.
This is the Echo English Podcast, the place where you improve your English through real conversations that feel, human, honest, and calm. I am Anna.
And I am Jake. It is wonderful to be back here with you.
Today we're going to dive into a topic that I think every single language learner has felt at some point. It actually goes beyond language learning. It's a human experience. It's not about grammar rules, and it's not about memorizing vocabulary lists.
No, it's not. It's about something much deeper.
We're talking about the heavy weight of silence. We're talking about dealing with the fear of judgment.
This is such a crucial topic. We're essentially doing a deep dive into how to stop caring so much about what other people think.
Right.
We want to help you find the freedom to finally use your voice and build your confidence.
Now, I know this can feel like a very big, maybe even a scary topic, but before we start, I just want to say something directly to you, our listener. If you're an intermediate learner, maybe at the A2 or B1 level, please just relax.
That is the most important rule for today. Don't worry if you don't understand every single word we say.
Not at all.
That's completely okay. The goal here is just to let the language flow over you. Your brain is an amazing machine. It's learning through listening, even when you don't notice it.
So just take a deep breath.
Exactly. Let's just explore this together.
So let's unpack this. I want to start with a specific scenario. I think this is something almost everyone listening will recognize immediately. I want to ask you and our listeners, have you ever wanted to speak but you just stayed silent?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a universal experience. We have all been there.
It's a very specific feeling, isn't it? It's not that you don't know the answer.
Yeah.
You have the sentence right there in your mind. You know the vocabulary. You know the grammar. You're ready to go. But then, right before you open your mouth, one specific thought just stops you.
Yep.
You think, what if they judge me?
It's a paralyzing moment. It acts like a wall.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating to me is that this isn't just a mental game. It's a physical reaction.
Yes.
Your body reacts as if you're in real danger.
Right. Your heart might start beating a little faster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your palms might get sweaty. And your mind, it just goes into overdrive.
Yeah.
You start checking every word again and again.
Is this the right verb tense? Is my pronunciation okay?
All those questions.
You start imagining the worst case scenario. You imagine someone laughing at you.
Or thinking your English sounds strange. Or, and I think this is the fear that really hurts us.
What's that?
Thinking that you're not smart enough. You worry that because your English is simple, people will think you are simple. So the result is, you say nothing. You stay safe.
But is it really safe? Because this is where it gets really interesting and honestly a little bit sad. It's the aftermath.
Yes.
It's what happens 10 minutes later or 2 hours later. What happens then?
The regret sets in. And it's such a heavy feeling.
It really is.
Later, when you're alone, maybe you're in the shower or sitting on the bus or just about to go to sleep, the perfect words suddenly come to you.
Every time.
The sentence is so clear.
Yeah.
And you wonder, why didn't I just speak? Why was I so afraid?
If you recognize yourself in that moment, please stay with us. We really want to help you move past that feeling.
Yeah.
We need to understand the mechanism of this fear. Where does it come from? Because it didn't just start yesterday.
No, it certainly didn't. If we look at the psychology behind this, we see that most of the time, this fear begins years earlier. It's rooted in our history. It could be from school or things that happen at home or interactions with friends when we were younger.
It's usually a specific moment, isn't it? It's rarely a general feeling. It's often a memory.
A single memory, yeah.
Maybe you said something once in class and the other students laughed. Or you wore something different and someone made a mean comment.
Precisely. And here's the difficult truth about human memory. For the person who said the mean thing, it was just a small moment. They probably forgot about it 5 minutes later.
They just moved on.
They went on with their day. But for you, it stayed.
This brings us to a really important vocabulary word for this deep dive. It's a word that perfectly describes how these memories stick with us. Can you explain the word linger?
I would love to. Linger is such a descriptive word. It means when something stays in your mind or in a place longer than it should.
It just hangs around.
It hangs around, exactly. Think of it like the smell of burnt toast in a kitchen. Even after you throw the toast away, the smell lingers.
Oh, that's a perfect description. So those comments from the past, you talk funny, your accent is weird, they linger. They don't just disappear.
Right. They hang in the background of your mind.
Really?
And because they linger, they do something else. There's another process happening here. You had a great word for this process.
Yes, the word is seep. To seep means to enter slowly through small spaces. It's usually used for liquids. The source material uses a great analogy here.
I love this one.
Imagine water entering a wall in your house.
That's a great visual.
At first, you don't see the water. It's inside the bricks. It's inside the paint. But later, the whole wall is wet. The structure is damaged.
That is such a powerful image. Fear works exactly this way.
How so?
One comment from 20 years ago becomes part of your identity. It seeps in. It enters slowly through the cracks in your confidence.
And now, as an adult?
Right. Now, as an adult, that old fear appears again in completely new situations. You're in a business meeting or trying to talk to a native speaker, and suddenly that wet wall is there. You feel the structural damage.
And that damage shows up as anxiety. We use the word anxiety a lot, but I think it helps to define it clearly in this context.
Good idea.
When we say someone feels anxious, what does that actually mean physically?
Being anxious means feeling danger physically, even when there's no actual danger in the room. There's no tiger chasing you, no fire.
But your body thinks there is.
Your body reacts as if there is. Your chest might feel tight. Your stomach feels heavy. We often call that having a knot in your stomach.
And then your brain starts to, and this is a very common phrase, it starts to freak out.
Yes, to freak out is a very common phrasal verb. It means to suddenly feel overwhelmed with fear or panic.
You lose your cool?
Completely. You start asking, what if I look stupid? What if I make a mistake and everyone stares at me?
So when we freak out, we usually have two reactions. We either shrink back or we hold back. These sound similar, but there is a nuance there, isn't there?
There is a subtle difference, yeah. To shrink back is almost physical. Think about the verb to shrink, like a sweater that gets smaller in hot water.
Oh, okay.
When you shrink back, you try to make yourself smaller. You try to hide. You sit in the back of the room. You avoid eye contact.
And holding back.
To hold back is more about your voice and your potential. It means stopping yourself from saying what you truly want to say.
So you have the idea.
You have the idea, you have the contribution, but you restrain it. You silence yourself before anyone else can silence you.
That is tragic, really. It's a loss for you, but it's also a loss for the people who don't get to hear your ideas.
It is.
But I have a reality check here that might help our listeners feel a little better. It's a perspective shift that I have to remind myself of constantly.
What's that?
Most people are not thinking about you. We imagine this huge audience watching our every move, analyzing our grammar, judging our accent. But the truth is, they're the main character in their own movie.
That is so liberating.
Isn't it? They're focused on their own problems, their own insecurities, their own lunch plans.
So you are just a small moment in their day. They aren't obsessing over your grammar mistakes because they're too busy obsessing over their own lives.
Exactly. We often call this the spotlight effect. We think the spotlight is on us, but usually the room is dark. However, we have to be honest here. We can't be unrealistic. Sometimes people are actually critical. Sometimes people do make fun of accents or grammar. That does happen.
That's true. We can't deny that reality. Sometimes criticism is real.
So what do you do then?
Well, this raises an incredibly important question for our listeners. Is that criticism about you, or is it about them?
That's an interesting distinction. Tell us more about that.
Well, psychology tells us that often criticism is a projection. Think of a movie projector. It's not a mirror reflecting you.
It's a projection of their own insecurity onto you.
Exactly. Maybe they laughed because they're insecure about their own intelligence. Maybe they judged you because they're afraid to try speaking a new language themselves, so seeing you try makes them uncomfortable.
So their words describe their internal state, not your ability.
Precisely.
We can't erase their words. We can't stop people from being rude sometimes, but we can choose what to do with those words. We can brush them off.
I love that phrasal verb, to brush off. It's a very physical action.
It is.
Visualize having some dust or dirt on your jacket. You just use your hand to brush it away.
And it's gone.
It's gone. So mentally, you hear the comment, you acknowledge it, and you choose, this is not my truth, and you brush it off.
You refuse to let it linger.
And you refuse to let it seep in.
But there's another danger when we're afraid of judgment. It's not just about feeling bad. It's about changing who we are. We stop being ourselves. We put on a mask. We become the quiet one, or the one who always smiles and agrees just to be safe. We stop being authentic.
Yes. Authentic is a key word for connection. It means being real. It means being true to yourself.
Not acting or performing.
Right. But fear forces us into a very tiring behavior. This is a fantastic idiom for the state. walking on eggshells.
Oh, that's a classic one. Walking on
And a
eggshell.
very vivid image. Imagine the floor is covered in fragile, empty eggshells. If you step normally, they'll break and make a noise. So you have to be extremely tense.
Extremely careful with every single step.
Exactly. And in conversation, that means being extremely careful with every single word to avoid upsetting someone or making a mistake.
And imagine how exhausting that is.
It's so tiring. If you walk on eggshells all day, your muscles get tired. If you speak on eggshells, your mind gets tired. It takes all the fun out of connecting with people.
It's heavy. And I think a big part of this comes from perfectionism.
Oh, yes.
We tell ourselves a lie. We say, I'll speak when I'm ready, or I'll speak when my English is perfect.
But that's the perfection trap. It's a trap because perfect doesn't exist.
Right.
You can't learn to swim without entering the water. You can read every book about swimming. You can study the physics of water. But until you get wet, you can't swim.
You have to get wet. You have to splash around and maybe swallow a little water.
You do. And I like to think of confidence in a specific way. Many people think confidence is a personality trait, like having blue eyes or brown hair.
You're either born with it or you're not.
Right. But that's not true. Confidence is a muscle.
A muscle. Like a bicep.
It's exactly like a bicep. You build it through repetition. You build it by going to the gym and lifting weights.
Okay.
In language, every time you ask a question or make a comment or just say one honest sentence, even though you're scared, that's a confidence rep.
A confidence repetition. I love that. So we don't need to be fearless immediately. We just need to do the reps.
We do.
We need to lean into the discomfort.
Precisely. To lean into something means moving toward it. Usually when we feel discomfort or fear, our instinct is to lean away, to shrink back. But to lean into means moving toward the discomfort with curiosity. It's a shift in mindset.
How so?
We need to adopt what I call the scientist mindset.
The scientist mindset. That sounds very professional. How does a scientist approach fear?
Well, scientists treat everything as an experiment. They don't fear failure. They look for data.
Interesting.
If an experiment goes wrong, a scientist doesn't say, I'm a terrible person. They say, that was interesting. Why did that happen?
So for a language learner, instead of asking, what if I fail, you ask, what went well and what surprised me?
Exactly. You shift your focus from your mistakes to your growth. You become an observer of your own progress rather than a judge.
That is so helpful. It takes the pressure off. It's just an experiment.
It is.
If it goes wrong, you just try a different variable next time.
Spot on.
We have covered a lot of ground today. We've gone from childhood memories to building muscles in the gym.
We have.
And we've used some really powerful vocabulary along the way. I think it would be great to do a structured review for our listeners so these words can really sink in.
Or should we say, seep in, but in a good way.
Yes, in a good way.
I agree. Let's go through the key terms we used in this deep dive. I'll give the word and a simple definition, and let's hear an example sentence for each.
Sounds like a plan. Let's start with that first concept about memory. Linger.
Linger. This means to stay longer than expected, like a smell, a guest at a party, or a memory.
Okay, example. That awkward memory still lingers in my mind.
Perfect. Next one, the water analogy, seep. To enter slowly, usually through small cracks.
Example. Over time, fear can seep into different areas of your life.
Then we talked about the feeling, anxious. This means feeling very worried inside, usually with physical symptoms like a fast heartbeat.
Right, example. I feel anxious before speaking publicly.
And the extreme reaction to anxiety, freak out, to suddenly feel overwhelmed with fear or panic.
Example. I usually freak out before big presentations.
What do we do when we freak out? We might shrink back, to pull away, make yourself smaller, and hide.
Example. I wanted to speak up, but I felt shy and shrank back.
Or we might hold back, to stop yourself from expressing something you want to say.
Example. She held back her opinion because she didn't want to argue.
But the goal is to be authentic. This means being real, genuine, and true to yourself.
Example. I want to be authentic in my conversations, not fake.
To do that, we must stop walking on eggshells. This idiom means being overly careful with every word to avoid conflict or mistakes.
Example. He feels like he is walking on eggshells around his strict boss.
Instead, we should brush off the negativity, to let something negative go, like dusting dirt off your shoulder.
I like that one. Example. I decided to brush off the rude comment and keep smiling.
And finally, the strategy, lean into, to move toward discomfort with courage and curiosity.
Example. She leaned into her fear and spoke up anyway.
That's a powerful list of words.
Yeah.
They really tell the story of the journey from fear to confidence.
They do. And to our listener, you don't need to memorize all of these today. That would be overwhelming. Just pick one.
Just one.
Choose one word from this list to use this week. That is already progress. That is already a confidence rep.
Absolutely. Remember, the goal isn't becoming fearless. Fear is natural. The goal isn't becoming perfect. Perfection is a myth.
So what is the goal?
The goal is simply choosing to speak, even when your voice shakes.
It's about realizing that the transformation isn't about your English getting better, although it will. The real transformation is caring less about the audience and more about your own progress.
That is what really matters. Your growth is the most important thing in the room.
Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive. We hope you feel a little lighter and maybe a little braver. Thank you so much for listening. This is Anna.
And this is Jake.
You've been listening to the Echo English Podcast. And remember,
your voice matters more than you think.
bye for now.